104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. Our good friend Matt Verderame from Fansided with us right now. Matt, first of all, this trade deadline, the craziest we've seen probably in NFL history. We'll start with the Pats. Why did they finally let Jimmy Garoppolo go?
I think they realized that they weren't going to be able to keep him after this year. His contract, his rookie deal was up. And really for them, it was either sign him to an extension or tag him and pay him what would have been upwards of $20 million to be Tom Brady's backup. And so there really was no path to keep him unless they were willing to pay top dollar for a backup, which would be unprecedented. So they move him to the NFC. They get a second-round pick that really is basically a late first-round pick to San Francisco, and they go from there. I think the Pats probably could have gotten more if they had traded him back in March or April, but at the same point, maybe there was still some optimism that they could have found a way to keep him. Maybe they thought at that point he'd sign on as an expensive backup at a reasonable number, and that just didn't materialize.
So what does this mean now for the Patriots' future? Is it that Tom Brady's going to be around for a long time? Are they going to look at maybe a quarterback with that second-round pick? What does New England do for their future?
Well, they signed Brian Hoyer today, and so they probably feel like that at least is a good backup plan. I think it is. I think he's one of the better backups in the league. I think Brady's at least going to play a few more years. There's no reason I think he won't. He's leading the league in yardage again. He's on pace for 5,000 yards, and that's without Julian Edelman. So I think he's going to continue to play. He stated he wants to play till he's 45. I don't think he's going to get there, but I think he'll play a few more years. And, yeah, I think certainly the Pats have been aggressive in drafting young quarterbacks in the last few years. I think they'll continue to do so.
Matt Verderame with us from Fansided on 104.5 The Team. We've got some Pats fans in the building who, the guys I'll pick on and be like, you're just one bad drop back from Brady away from not having a quarterback. Well, we've got Garoppolo. Well, we've got Brissett. Well, now they got nobody except for Hoyer. Is that comfortable enough if you're a Pats fan?
It's comfortable enough to win the division, maybe, although Buffalo's playing very well right now, but it's not comfortable to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to beat Pittsburgh or Kansas City with Brian Hoyer at quarterback. And so, now who knows if Garoppolo could have done that either. We've only seen him start 2 games in his NFL career, albeit looking very good in those games. But yeah, listen, it's tough if you're a Pats fan from the standpoint that Garoppolo, everybody talks about him as though he was going to be the successor. And now there's, as you mentioned, with Brissett going to Indianapolis, there's nobody. So there are some long-term questions.
Ajayi goes from the Miami Dolphins to the Philadelphia Eagles. What does this say about the franchise? More about the Dolphins rebuilding, moving guys, or more about the Eagles going all in for this season?
I think this is more about Philadelphia. Philadelphia clearly thinks they can win the Super Bowl this year, or at least get to the Super Bowl and go from there. And I don't disagree. Look, the Eagles are a very good team, 7-1, best record in the NFL. I think they, alongside the Seahawks, probably at the top of the heap there in the NFC. And so Ajayi, he's not a great back. He's a good back, kind of a bruiser, gives them more of what they already have in Garrett Blount. I think maybe it's more of a thunder and thunder combination. They gave up a 4th-round pick. There was a lot of talk when Ajayi came out of Boise State that his knees wouldn't hold up, so maybe that factored into the thinking as well. I know Jeff Darlington, who covers Miami, he reported that, and so that makes sense. So I think it's more about the Eagles than I think the Dolphins, who probably realize they're a borderline playoff team with or without Ajayi.
All right, Matt, you just gave it to me. The Eagles' backfield is now the Thunder Buddies.
Well, yeah, there's no lightning. With Darren Sproles being out, there's nobody who's a burner back there, so it's going to be a lot of power football for Philly.
The Thunder Buddies? How about the Smoking Buddies? You got a Jana Blount in the backfield.
No, but they're Thunder and Thunder, so like Thunder Buddies, like from the stupid
Ted movie?
Ted, yes. Come on,
I feel like this is like one more segment away from everybody getting fired. But I think, hey, look, for the Eagles, it doesn't hurt, right? Like, you're playing cold weather, you're outdoors, it's going to be January, obviously, here, and so I think for them it makes sense. And if you're Miami, where are you really going? Even if they make the playoffs, you're not going deep. And so I think for them, look, a 4th-round pick, it's not much, but it's something, and you move on.
I mean, all the moves were shocking in one way or another, Matt, but we got Matt Verderame with Fansided with us right now, 104.5 The Team. But I think the Kelvin Benjamin from Carolina to Buffalo one shocked me the most.
Yeah, that was stunning. I mean, for no other reason, Carolina's 5-3 and a half game out of its divisional lead now behind New Orleans, and Kelvin Benjamin this year is leading the team, 475 yards. Look, I don't think Benjamin is a great receiver, but he's a good receiver, and he's a very good red zone target. And so I think that's probably where he helps Buffalo the most, is in that 20-yard line and in area where I think he can go up and get a jump ball. He can box a guy out. He's not a deep ball threat. He's not somebody who's going to run away from a lot of corners. He doesn't create a ton of separation. You've got to be trusting to throw into those tight windows with him. But, hey, for the Bills, look, he is by far the best receiving threat now on that team. So I think Buffalo, trying to get to the playoffs for the first time this millennium, it's a good move. You really can't complain about it if you're a Bills fan.
I know you're one of the writers who actually goes through and watches the films of games. Deshaun Watson, the rookie for the Houston Texans, this guy has been fantastic. Why has he been so good so early in his career?
I think part of it is he's been willing to make throws down the field. I think a lot of times rookie quarterbacks, they always want to play it safe, or frankly, they're confused by what they see and they get paralyzed by it. And so you see a lot of that, hitch and that second judgment. With Watson, he's cut it loose, and it's resulted in some interceptions. He threw 3 against Seattle, and he threw a couple in New England, and so on and so forth. But he's thrown 19 touchdowns, and he's got Hopkins, he's got a speedster in Will Fuller, and he's given them opportunities to make plays on the ball. And in the NFL today, I think teams are behooved more and more to throw the ball deep down the field and force a defensive back to make a play on the ball. A lot of times, they can't do it. It's either going to be a big play or a pass interference. And I give Watson a lot of credit. He's taken advantage of his opportunity. He's behind a horrific offensive line, and yet he's still been able to do what he's done. Right now, it looks worse and worse for teams like Cleveland that passed on Deshaun Watson.
Matt Verderame with us from Fansided 104.5 The Team. So, Matt, in the beginning of the season, it looked like we had some super teams out there. Now, I guess you go Philly. I guess you go New England getting back on top of the heap. But is there, in your mind, like a dominant team or two that you're going to see in Minnesota for the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think there are. I think there are 5 teams right now that I look at. Say those 5 are the favorites one way or another to get to the Super Bowl. And I think in the NFC, it's Philadelphia and Seattle, to me, are the 2 best teams. Now, I probably trust Seattle a little bit more just simply because they've been there so many times. But Philadelphia has the talent. That loss of Jason Peters does hurt, but the Eagles still a very good team. And in the AFC, it's New England, it's Pittsburgh, and it's Kansas City in any order you want to put them. And the other 13 teams in that conference, I don't think have any realistic hope of getting to the Super Bowl. I think whatever team in the AFC gets that 1 seed, and all 3 of them right now are 6-2, have a huge advantage because you're going to play whoever wins the South, or you're going to play a wild card team in the divisional round, while the other 2 beat up on each other. So I think those 5 are really the only 5 that have a path to the Super Bowl, with the caveat of if the Vikings can get healthy at the quarterback spot, they are very dangerous. And wouldn't it be something to see them in the Super Bowl in a year that it's in Minneapolis?
Yeah, speaking of Minneapolis, it's going to be cold. We've hung out with you in the past at the Super Bowl, the big game. So we got to start planning on like how Goz is going to buy us all drinks when we're there.
Now, wait a second.
What do you mean, wait a second?
Well, I think, if that doesn't happen, and we all know that it probably isn't going to happen. We also hung out with Brady Farkas back in the day, and so we can maybe goad him into buying a few drinks for everybody.
Yeah, he's got program director money.
It's not Houston like last year. We're going to be freezing, and so we got to keep ourselves warm one way or another, and the spirit's always a good way to get that done.
Yes, and here's the thing, too. Like, Levack and I, everything went wrong the first 48 hours. Luggage lost, couldn't get in, couldn't get the radio. The amount of fun I think Levack and I and you and Brady and everybody else we meet there is going to be a new level this year. That's how I think about it. It might be cold, but we're going to be in a good mood.
Yeah, but at least we know it's going to be cold. Everywhere we've gone so far, Matt, it's like supposed to be warm, and we've frozen. So at least we'll expect it this time.
That's right. Beer, some type of vodka, some type of liquor will be okay.
Hey, listen, you know what? It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a long, cold week. But like you said, at least you know. At least you know going in. And listen, layer up. You're going to freeze to death. You just accept it. It'll be a lot of fun. Super Bowl week. We had a good time last year, and I'm sure this time around will be a good time.
Absolutely. We always like talking to you, Matt Verderame of Fansided, and I was unaware there's a new Verderame. Congratulations on the new addition to the family.
Thank you. There is. She's beautiful. She's perfect, and she keeps me awake.
Yeah, well, wait till she's 14. Mine really keeps me awake now.
Soon she'll be breaking down a 3.
A whole other set of reasons.
Yeah.
Soon enough, she'll be breaking down a 3-4 defense with you, man. All right.
Oh God, I hope for her sake she's not.
Matt, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the help, brother.
Hey, take care, guys.